first day. Down a little path behind the cabin, half hidden by bushes. It's small, made of dark rotting wood. The door is heavy wood with a big old-fashioned padlock. Rusty. Carl's warning sticks in my head. Roof trouble. Makes sense. I don't think about it again. Boathouses are for spiders and old fishing stuff. It starts small. That feeling. Like standing just behind you. But when you turn, no one's there. I feel it first while fishing. A cold spot on my neck. I turn, look around the empty lakeshore. Nothing. Sitting on the porch eating, I look up fast. Her eyes are on me. Just trees. Inside the cabin, it's worse. Washing my plate, I spin around, heart jumping. The hallway is empty. Just the cabin settling. Then the sounds. Not the wind. Not the trees. At night in the dead. Tap, tap, tap. Like a fingernail. Coming from inside the walls. Or maybe from the direction of the back door. The boathouse path. It makes my skin feel tight. I tell myself it's mice. Or branches. Old cabins make noises. One afternoon, looking for more firewood, I checked the small shed beside the cabin. Behind some rusty tools and a tarp, my hand hits something. Hard and cold. I pull it out. A key, heavy old metal, cold even in my warm hand. It's long and simple with a round top. It feels important. Wrong. My eyes go straight to the path leading to the locked boathouse. Carl's words. Locked up. Roof's bad. Don't go near it. But the key feels like a dare. The tapping, the feeling of being watched. They mix together into a heavy lump in my chest. A need to know. What's so bad about an old boathouse roof? What's hidden inside? I leave the key on the small table by my bed. It sits there, watching me. The tapping sounds get louder at night, sharper. The feeling of eyes on my back is almost constant now. The cabin's peace feels thin, like paint over something rotten. 3 nights later, I wake up sweating from a dream. Dark water. Something tapping on the boat I'm trapped in. That's it. I have to know. I wait until the moon is bright, making long black shadows from the trees. The wind is loud, covering any noise I make. My heart thumps hard. I grab my flashlight. I walk down the path to the boathouse. It looks smaller, darker. The padlock is big and rusty. My hand shakes as I push the cold key in. It turns, smoothly, too smoothly. A heavy clunk. The lock opens. I pull it off. The door is heavy. I push. It groans open. Cold, damp air hits me. It smells like wet wood, mud, and something else. Something stale and old, like forgotten water. I point my flashlight inside. It's not full of old boats. Not really. One small, rotting rowboat is pulled up on the slimy wooden floor. But that's not what stops me. The walls, they're covered, not with tools, with things. My things. My breath catches in my throat. Nailed to the walls, hanging from the low rafters, piled on a broken workbench. The baseball cap I lost the second day fishing. A crumpled candy bar wrapper from my pocket. My spare fishing lure. One of my socks muddy that I thought blew off the line. Even the plastic spoon I dropped near the dock yesterday. All my little lost things. Here, collected. But it gets worse. On the back wall, nailed flat to the wood, are papers. Lots of papers. My flashlight beam jumps over them. My own handwriting stares back at me. Pages torn from the notebook I brought to jot down thoughts. Private thoughts about Sarah, about the divorce, about feeling alone. Pages I ripped out and threw into the cabin's little wood stove. I watched them burn, didn't I? A choked sound comes from my throat. The violation is deep, cold. How? When? I burned them. The stove has a small door. Could someone have fished them out? But who? I haven't seen a car, a person, nothing. Panic starts buzzing in my ears. I swing the flashlight wildly. The light catches the rowboat. Something is inside it, not oars. I step closer, my boots sticking to the slimy floor. In the bottom of the boat, lying on wet leaves, is a small pile. My flashlight shakes as I see a cheap plastic comb I use, a few strands of my dark hair knotted together, a small muddy stone shaped almost like a heart, and worst of all, a rough little doll, made of twisted reeds from the lake shore. It has two small dark pebbles for eyes. Staring up, fresh terror, colder than the lake water, drenches me. Someone has been here, very recently, while I was at the cabin, while I slept. They left this creepy little collection, this doll watching me. I don't remember running. 1 second I'm staring at the reed doll with its pebble eyes. The next I'm crashing back through the boathouse door into the cold night air. I slam the heavy door shut. My fingers are numb, fumbling. I jam the padlock closed, twist the key. Locked. But it doesn't feel like enough. Nothing feels like enough. I don't sleep. I sit on the cabin floor, my back against the locked front. Door, all the lights on, the gas lamp hissing loudly. I hold my biggest fishing knife. Every creak is someone outside. Every gust of wind rattling the windows is a hand on the lock. I see the stolen pages, the lost sock, the doll with its stone eyes. That tap, tap, tap sound starts again, faint but clear, coming from inside the cabin wall near the back door. Is it fingers? Dawn comes, gray and cold, no comfort, just tiredness and a deep cold knowing. I can't stay. This quiet isn't peace. It's a trap. Packing is fast and messy. I shove clothes into my bag. I leave the food, the fishing rod, everything. Just get out. As I grab my bag to leave, my eyes fall on the kitchen counter, where I left the boathouse key last night. It's gone. In its place is a single wet, muddy reed, twisted, and another small dark pebble. A sound like a whimper escapes me. They were inside, while I sat by the door. They took the key back. They left another sign. I run. My car engine roars too loud in the quiet. Gravel sprays as I speed away from Pine Rest Cabin. I don't look in the mirror. I drive for hours, feeling empty. The highway noise a strange comfort. Weeks later, back in my tiny, noisy apartment in the city, I try to make sense of it. A crazy hermit? Carl playing tricks? I call the rental office once. My voice sounds strange. Hi, yeah, Mike Evans. Rented Pine Rest Cabin? I had to leave early. Work thing. The woman on the phone sounds bored. Oh, okay. Shame. Nice spot. About the boathouse. I start, my throat tight. Carl said the roof was bad. Locked. A pause. Too long. Yeah, roof. Dangerous. Best leave it be. Her voice drops lower. Folks say, sometimes the quiet places keep things. Best not to poke around. The line goes dead. I stare at the phone. The quiet places keep things. It echoes in my head. I see the stolen trash, my burned thoughts pinned up, the muddy reed doll. Was it a person or something else? Something that lives in the deep quiet of the woods and the lake. Something that watches and collects and creeps close when the moon is bright. I don't tell the police. What do I say? The fear slowly fades a little, but it leaves behind a cold spot inside me. A fear of being alone, a fear of locked sheds and dark windows, a fear of quiet deep woods and water that doesn't move. I learned the lesson Pine Rest carved into me. Quiet can hide things. Being alone can make you pray. Some locks only keep the honest people out. The Watcher, whatever it was, is still out there, adding to its collection, waiting for the next person looking for peace beside the still, watching water. Story number 2, The Library Whispers. My name is Ben, and the Maplewood Public Library is my quiet world. I've worked here for 3 years, shelving books, helping people find stories, the soft shush of pages turning. It's peaceful. My little corner, desk by the big window overlooking the oak trees, feels safe. I've got a picture of my dog, Max, and a small, stubborn cactus that refuses to die. Nothing scary here. Until the notes started. It's a Tuesday afternoon. Quiet hour. Rain taps. gently on the window. I'm checking in a stack of books people returned. One book feels different, heavier. It's an old travel guide about hiking trails. I flip it open, and a small square of paper falls onto the counter. Plain white paper, folded once. My name is written on the outside. Ben, in neat, blocky handwriting. I don't recognize it. Maybe a kid slipped it in, or someone thanking me for help. I unfold it. 2 words, printed clearly. She knows. A cold little shiver runs down my back. She knows. Knows what? My mind scrambles. Did I forget to renew someone's book? Did I recommend a bad novel? Nothing comes to mind. It feels off, wrong. I shake my head. Probably a prank. Someone being weird. I crumple the note and toss it in the small trash bin under my desk. I try to forget it. But 3 days later, it happens again. I'm pulling a book off the new arrivals shelf for Mrs. Henderson, a mystery novel. As I hand it to her, another small square of paper flutters out. It lands near her feet. I pick it up quickly, smiling like it's nothing. My name again. Ben. Same handwriting. My fingers feel cold as I unfold it later, alone at my desk. The dog barks at 3 a.m. My breath catches. Max does bark sometimes around 3 a.m. at the neighbor's cat, usually. But how does anyone know that? Especially someone who slips notes into library books. I live alone in a small house. No one sees Max bark in the middle of the night. I feel watched, exposed. I look around the library. Mrs. Henderson is reading peacefully. Mr. Davies is browsing the history section. A couple of teenagers are whispering by the computers. No one looks at me. The notes don't stop. They come every few days. Always slipped into a returned book I happen to be checking in. Always that neat, blocky handwriting. Always things they shouldn't know. You hate the smell of lavender. True. My mom used too much lavender air freshener when I was a kid. It makes me feel sick. The scar on your knee. Bicycle. Age 9. Exactly right. A bad fall on gravel. You think about leaving this town. A private thought I've only had lying awake at night. It's not just facts. It's feelings, fears, things locked inside my head. The dark corner in your basement scares you. It does, ever since I saw a weird shadow down there. You worry you'll be alone forever. Each note is like a tiny ice pick chipping away at my sense of safety. The library, my peaceful haven, starts feeling like a cage. I watch everyone. The elderly man who always reads the newspapers, is his smile too knowing? The quiet woman who only checks out gardening books, does she linger near my desk too long? The teenagers, are they laughing at me? Paranoia buzzes in my ears like a trapped fly. I tell my friend Lisa, who works at the coffee shop next door. We meet for lunch in the small park behind the library. Her smile fades as I whisper about the notes. Ben, that's creepy, she says, her eyes wide. Have you told anyone? Your boss? The police? It's just notes, I say, trying to sound calm. Weird, personal notes. What would the police do? And my boss, Mr. Peterson? He'd probably think I'm making it up for attention. The thought of Mr. Peterson's skeptical frown makes me shrink inside. Someone knows things, Ben, Lisa insists. Private things. That's not okay. You should at least tell Mr. Peterson. Show him a note. Feeling foolish but desperate, I do. Later that day, I show Mr. Peterson the latest note. It reads, "You miss your grandmother's voice. She passed away last year. I still hear her sometimes in my dreams." Mr. Peterson adjusts, his glasses peering at the paper. He's a kind man, but practical. "Ben," he sighs, "this is strange, certainly, but pranks? Kids with too much time? Have you noticed anyone acting suspiciously?" "No one specific," I admit, feeling defeated. "They just appear in the books. We'll keep an eye out," he promises, patting my shoulder. "Report anything else, and try not to worry. The library is safe." His words don't help. The feeling of being watched grows stronger, especially when I'm alone shelving books in the quiet rows. I feel eyes on my back. I spin around. Nothing. Just endless books. The silence feels heavy. Listening. A week passes with no notes. I start to hope. Maybe it stopped. Maybe Mr. Peterson scared them off somehow. I relax a fraction. Then, Friday evening, rain lashes the windows. It's getting dark early. The library is almost empty. Just me and old Mrs. Gable, who's fallen asleep in her favorite armchair near the fireplace. I'm checking in the last few books from the Dropbox. A thick fantasy novel, a cookbook, a slim volume of poetry. I open the poetry book. A note flutters out. My stomach clenches. I don't want to read it, but I have to. My fingers tremble as I unfold it. Look up. My blood turns to ice. My head snaps up. I scan the library. Mrs. Gable snores softly. Rain streaks the dark windows. The rows of bookshelves are deep canyons of shadow. No one else is here. I'm sure of it. I locked the front door 5 minutes ago. The back door is always locked from the inside, but the feeling, it's overwhelming, crushing, like a physical weight pushing down on my chest. Someone is here, watching. From somewhere, my heart hammers against my ribs. I can't breathe properly. The air is thick and cold. I stand frozen behind the counter, clutching the note. The silence isn't quiet anymore. It hums with a terrible presence. I force myself to move, step out from behind the counter. My legs feel like wood. I walk slowly, down the nearest aisle between towering shelves of history books. The shadows seem to deepen. I peer down each row. Nothing, just dust motes dancing in the dim emergency lights. Hello? My voice comes out a croak. Is someone there? Only the drumming rain answers, and the frantic beating of my own heart. I check the children's section, the reference area, the small study rooms, all empty, locked. I even check the tiny staff break room. Nothing. Yet the feeling of being watched doesn't fade. It intensifies. It feels like eyes are boring into the back of my head. I whirl around. Still nothing. Mrs. Gable murmurs in her sleep, making me jump a foot in the air. I've never been so relieved to see someone. I gently wake her, my hands shaking. Closing time, Mrs. Gable, I say, my voice strained. She blinks, confused, then gathers her things. I practically hustle her to the door, unlock it, and watch her shuffle out into the rainy night. I lock the door behind her, leaning my forehead against the cool glass. Safe. Alone. But am I? I go back to the counter. The note is still there. Look up. I shove it deep into my pocket, wanting it gone. I grab my coat and bag. Time to get out of here. Fast. I turn off the main lights, leaving only the dim emergency bulbs glowing. The library becomes a landscape of deep shadows and looming bookshelves. I head for the back exit, the one that leads to the staff parking lot. As I pass my desk, something catches my corner of my eye. On the surface of the desk, right next to my picture of Max, it's another note. Flat. Unfolded. It wasn't there when I checked the poetry book. It wasn't there when I walked Mrs. Gable out. I just passed my desk. Nothing. My breath stops. Slowly, terrified, I step closer. The neat, blocky letters seem to glow in the gloom. Don't trust the quiet. A choked sound escapes me. They were here, right behind me, or somewhere. Close enough to leave this unseen in the seconds my back was turned. While I was locking the front door. While I was walking Mrs. Gable out. While I was breathing. I snatch the note, stuffing it with the other one. I don't run. I walk stiffly, every nerve screaming, to the back door. I fumble with the keys, my hands slick with sweat. The lock clicks open. I burst out into the cold, wet night, slamming the heavy door behind me. I don't look back. I run to my car, jump in, and lock the doors. I sit there for minutes, shaking, the rain pounding on the roof. before I can drive away. The notes stopped. After that, no more appeared in the books, but the fear didn't leave. It settled deep inside me, cold and heavy. I couldn't work alone in the library anymore. The silence felt like a held breath. The shadows between the bookshelves felt alive. Every creak of the old building made me jump. The feeling of being watched returned often, especially near closing time. I'd spin around, heart racing, seeing nothing but empty space. I never found out who wrote the notes. Mr. Peterson checked the security cameras. Grainy footage showed nothing unusual near my desk or the book drop during the times the notes appeared. Just me, checking books, finding paper, no one else. He looked worried then, but had no answers. I quit a month later. Told Mr. Peterson I needed a change. He nodded, his eyes understanding. He knew. He didn't argue. Even now, months later, working a noisy job in a brightly lit store, I feel it sometimes. That cold prickle on the back of my neck. The feeling of eyes on me when I'm alone in a room. I avoid libraries. The quiet isn't peaceful anymore. It feels like a place where things can hide. Watching, listening, knowing things they shouldn't. Whoever, or whatever, knew my secrets. It's still out there. Somewhere. In the quiet places. Waiting. And sometimes, in the dead of night, I swear I hear a faint whisper, like pages turning in an empty room. Story 3. The Flickering Screen. My name is Chloe, and apartment 3B feels like a fresh start. After months crashing on my sister's lumpy couch, this place is mine. Small, sure, but clean. Big windows look out onto a quiet street with old maple trees. The rent is cheap because the building's old, the landlord said. Solid bones, he called it. I don't care about fancy. I care about quiet and safe, or so I thought. It starts small. A week after I move in, I'm flopped on the second-hand sofa, flipping through channels after work. Nothing good on. I click. The remote. Click, click. Nothing happens. The TV stays stubbornly on channel 38. Some infomercial about miracle knives. Annoying, but whatever. Old building. Maybe the wiring's weird. I get up and press the power button on the TV itself. It blinks off. Problem solved. I go make dinner. The next night it happens again. I'm watching a cooking show. Suddenly, the picture scrambles into fuzzy gray snow. The sound cuts out, replaced by a loud hissing static. It's jarring. I jump. I grab the remote, mash buttons. Nothing. The static hiss fills the room. It feels aggressive, louder than it should be. I have to walk over and pull the TV's plug from the wall to make it stop. Silence crashes back in, feeling heavier than before. Okay. Maybe the cable box is busted. I call the cable company. A bored-sounding guy promises a technician will come out in 3 days. Fine. I can manage. But the TV doesn't wait. 2 nights later, I'm reading on the sofa. The TV is off. Or was off. Out of nowhere, it snaps on. Full volume. Blaring static. The harsh white light floods the dark room. My heart slams against my ribs. I scramble for the remote, fumbling. The static screams. I hit the power button. It clicks off. The sudden silence rings in my ears. My hands are shaking. The cable technician comes. He's young, friendly. He checks the box, the wires, the outlet. He even replaces the remote's batteries. Everything looks solid, ma'am, he says, scratching his head. Old building, maybe some interference. Could be a neighbor's appliance messing with the signal. He gives me a sympathetic shrug. Try unplugging it when you're not using it. I do, religiously. Every night before bed, I walk over and yank the plug. It feels stupid, but the static blasts scare me. Then it changes. I come home from work tired. I plug the TV back in, planning to watch some mindless show. As soon as the picture flickers on, it happens. Not static this time. The channel flips. Rapidly. Click, 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 click. So fast the images blur. News anchors, cartoons, sports, weather maps, a dizzying whirlwind of color and sound. It stops abruptly. On Channel 11, the local news, the anchor is mid-sentence. And police are still searching for the woman last seen near Elm and 5th. My blood runs cold. Elm and 5th is my bus stop. I stand frozen, staring at the screen. The anchor moves on to sports. Did I imagine it? A coincidence? I turn the TV off, my skin prickling. The channel surfing happens more often, always when I'm alone, always stopping on something unsettling. A crime drama where someone breaks into an apartment, a nature show about spiders, a documentary about electrical fires. It feels targeted, personal, like it's picking things that bother me. One rainy Tuesday, I'm sick with a cold. I stay home, wrapped in a blanket, feeling miserable. I plug the TV in for some background noise. A sitcom comes on. Laugh track. Safe. I close my eyes for a minute. I wake up with a start. The laugh track is gone. The room is quiet. Too quiet. The TV screen is black, not off black, deep, empty black, and in the center, written in thin, glowing white letters like old computer text, too quiet, I gasp, scrambling back on the sofa. The words hang there for 5 seconds. 10. Then the screen flickers and the sitcom snaps back on like nothing happened. The canned laughter sounds hollow, mocking. Panic claws at my throat. This isn't interference. This isn't a glitch. Something is doing this. I call my friend Jen. My voice shakes as I tell her about the words on the screen. "Chloe, that's messed up," she says, sounding worried. "Could it be hacked? Like a smart TV thing?" "I don't think this old thing is smart." I cry. "It's just a dumb TV. And the plug was out. How could it show words if it was unplugged?" "Are you sure you unplugged it last night?" "Positive. I do it every night. I saw the plug lying on the floor." Jen comes over after work. We unplug the TV together. We wait. Nothing happens. The screen stays dark. "See?" I say, feeling a little hysterical. "It only does it when I'm alone." Jen looks unconvinced but concerned. Maybe it's stress, the move, being alone a lot? She means well, but it feels like she doesn't believe me. Not really. That night, I unplug the TV again. I double-check the plug is out. I even move the sofa in front of the outlet, blocking it. A silly barrier, but it makes me feel slightly better. I lie in bed, listening to the rain. Sleep won't come. The apartment feels too big, too empty. Every creak of the old building makes me flinch. Then I hear it. A low hum, not loud, faint, coming from the living room. My heart stops. It's the sound the TV makes when it's on. The standby hum. But it's unplugged, blocked by the sofa. I force myself out of bed. My legs feel weak. I creep down the short hallway to the living room doorway. The TV screen is glowing, not showing a picture, just a soft, eerie greenish light, lighting up the whole room in an unnatural way. And on the screen, again in that thin white text, "Can't sleep," I scream. I don't mean to. It just bursts out. I stumble backwards, crashing into the wall. The green glow pulses once, slowly. Then the screen snaps dark. The faint hum cuts off. Silence. Thick, heavy silence. I spend the rest of the night huddled on my bed, all the lights on, clutching my phone. I don't sleep. The next day, I'm a wreck. I call the landlord, Mr. Henderson. He's gruff. "TV acting up? Probably needs replacing." "Not my problem, miss. You signed for the apartment as is." He hangs up. Desperate, I call the cable company again. Demand a senior technician. He comes. An older man with tired eyes. I show him the plug pulled out. I tell him about the glowing screen, the words. He listens patiently, checks everything again, tests the outlet with a little device, checks the wiring in the wall panel he finds in my closet. "Miss," he says finally, wiping his hands on a rag. "I can't explain it. There's no power going to that outlet when the plug's out. None. Your TV shouldn't be able to turn on, let alone display messages. He looks genuinely puzzled and a little disturbed. Maybe it's faulty inside. A capacitor holding a charge weirdly, but for words to appear. He shakes his head. Never seen anything like it. My advice? Get a new TV, a really cheap, dumb one. I nod numbly. He leaves. I feel more alone than ever. He didn't call me crazy, but he couldn't help. The problem isn't the TV. The problem is here. That night, I'm too scared to unplug it. What if it turns on anyway? What if it shows something worse? I leave it plugged in but turned off with the remote. I sit on the sofa, knees pulled to my chest, staring at the dark rectangle, waiting. The digital clock on the cable box glows red. 11:58 p.m. Midnight comes. The clock flips to 12. The TV snaps on. Not static, not channel surfing, not green glow. It's a picture. A grainy, black and white picture. Like an old security camera. It shows a room. My room. My living room. From a high corner angle. I can see the top of the sofa. I can see me. Sitting there, small and terrified on the screen. My breath stops. Ice floods my veins. I slowly turn my head. I look up at the corner of the ceiling above the TV. Nothing. Just the smooth, white plaster ceiling. But on the screen, the camera view is clearly from that spot. I look back at the screen. The image of me, frozen in fear. Then, slowly, white. Text begins to scroll across the bottom, like news headlines. We see you, Chloe. No one else does. We like watching, don't go. A choked sob escapes me. Tears blur my vision. I scramble off the sofa, tripping over my own feet. I don't grab clothes. I don't grab my toothbrush. I grab my purse and my car keys. I run for the door. As I fumble with the lock, I glance back. The TV screen is still, showing the view of the empty sofa. And new text scrolling. Running won't help. We know where you sleep. I scream again, a raw sound of pure terror. I wrench the door open and flee down the stairs into the cold night air. I don't stop running until I'm locked in my car, engine roaring, speeding away from apartment 3B. I drive to Jen's. I pound on her door in the middle of the night. She takes one look at my face and lets me in, no questions. I babble, cry, try to explain the screen, the words, the camera angle. She believes I'm scared. She believes something happened. But the camera angle, the words. She gently suggests maybe I had a panic attack, a hallucination brought on by stress and lack of sleep. She means well. But the look in her eyes, she doesn't believe the impossible part. I stay with Jen for a week. I call Mr. Henderson and tell him I'm breaking the lease. I tell him the apartment is haunted. He laughs, a harsh grating sound. Ghosts? Sure, kid. Just send the keys. You owe me for the month. I mail the keys. I never go back. I don't. Even drive down that street, I find a new place. A tiny studio in a noisy, modern building. Thin walls, loud neighbors. I don't care. I need the noise. The light. The feeling of people nearby. I don't own a TV. I watch everything on my laptop, with the camera covered by tape. But sometimes at night, when the city noise fades, I feel it. That old familiar prickle on the back of my neck. The feeling of being watched. I'll glance at my laptop, even with the camera covered, or at my dark phone screen. Is it just my reflection? Or is it something else? I know it sounds crazy. Maybe it is. Story number 4, Lost Phone. The familiar smell of burnt coffee and sugary pastries wraps around me as I push open the door to bean there. My usual spot by the window is free. Perfect. I slide into the worn leather chair, pulling out my phone. Almost without thinking, my thumb finds its favorite game. Tap, tap, swipe. The world outside the cafe window blurs. Friends text about meeting up later. I reply, chuckling at a stupid meme. This is just a normal Tuesday afternoon. Comfortable, boring even. Hours slide by. My coffee cup is long empty. Just a brown stain at the bottom. My stomach rumbles, reminding me lunch was skipped. Time to go. I shove my notebook into my bag, stand up, stretch. I grab my bag, sling it over my shoulder, and head out into the bright afternoon sun, blinking. I don't even think about my phone. Not until I'm halfway down the block, reaching for it to check the time. My pocket is empty. Panic flashes, hot and quick. Did I leave it? I spin around, heart thumping hard against my ribs. Back at the cafe. My table is already wiped clean. A new couple sits there laughing. My eyes scan the floor, the chair, the counter. Nothing. The friendly barista, Mark, sees my frantic look. Lose something? He asks, wiping a mug. My phone, I gasp. Black case, little chip on the corner. He checks behind the counter, under the register. Shakes his head. Haven't seen it, sorry. Maybe someone turned it in. He looks around, but the other staff shrug. My stomach feels like lead. That phone has everything. Pictures, messages. My whole life is on that little rectangle of glass and metal. I feel naked without it. The walk home is long and slow. Every step feels heavy. I keep patting my pockets, hoping it magically appears. It doesn't. Back in my apartment, I flop onto the couch, the silence suddenly loud. No buzzing notifications, nothing. I feel cut off. Lost. My laptop tracking it. The little map shows it. Somewhere near the cafe, maybe. But the signal is weak, flickering. Gone offline. Dead battery, probably. Or turned off. Stolen. Cancel my cards online. My fingers feel clumsy. I report it missing to the phone company. They tell me to file a police report too. It feels useless, but I do it. The officer on the phone sounds tired. Happens all the time, he says. Probably just grabbed by some kid. His words don't help. All I can think about is someone else touching my phone, seeing my photos, reading my texts. It makes my skin crawl. Days crawl by. I borrow an old phone from my sister. It feels weird and clunky. Every time it rings, I jump, hoping it's someone saying they found mine. It never is. The worry starts to fade a little, replaced by annoyance at replacing everything. New phone ordered, new cards coming. Just a big hassle. Then, a week later, I come home from work, tired. I drop my keys on the little table by the door. My foot kicks something soft. I look down. A plain brown envelope. No stamp, no writing. Just sitting there on the doormat, like it was slipped under while I was out. I freeze. Who leaves envelopes? Under doors any? Bills come in the mail. Packages get left outside. This feels wrong. Carefully, I pick it up. It's light. I tear it open, my fingers suddenly cold. Inside, wrapped in a piece of plain white paper, is my phone. My actual phone. The one with the chipped black case. Relief floods me. Strong, it makes my knees weak. Thank goodness, I whisper. Someone found it. Someone nice. Maybe they saw my name on an old email or something. I pull it out, eager to see if it still works. But the screen is dark. Dead. I press the power button. Nothing. Okay, I think. Just needs charging. Then I notice the U paper it was wrapped in. It's not blank. Words are scrawled across it in thick black marker. Big, uneven letters. I like your room. The relief vanishes. Gone. Like ice water dumped over my head. My breath catches. I stare at the words. Read them again and again. I like your room. My room. My bed. A cold feeling spreads through my chest. It's not just that someone has my phone. Someone has been here, in my apartment. Close enough to slip this under my door. Close enough to see my room. How? When? Did they come inside? My eyes dart around the small hallway. The living room door is open. Did I lock the door this morning? I always lock it, don't I? My hand holding the phone shakes. The paper feels dirty in my fingers. This isn't a nice person returning a lost phone. This is something else. Something bad. A threat. Quiet, but clear. I know where you live. I've seen inside. Fear, real and sharp, claws its way up my throat. I drop the envelope, and the paper like they're burning hot. I only hold on to the phone. It feels dangerous now. Contaminated. Who did this? Why? What did they see? The rest of the evening is a blur of panic. I check under the bed, in the closet, behind the shower curtain. My hands tremble. Every shadow seems darker, every little noise, the fridge humming, the pipes groaning, sounds like a footstep. I lock the deadbolt, I chain the door, I push a chair under the doorknob. It feels stupid, but I do it anyway. I plug the phone in, my hands shaking so badly I can barely get the charger in. It needs a minute. The screen stays black. While I wait, I grab my laptop. I pull up the security camera feed for the hallway, outside my apartment door. My building has cheap cameras just pointing at the doors. The image is grainy, black and white. I scroll back through the day, hours of empty hallway, people coming and going. Then, around 3 p.m., someone walks up to my door. They wear a dark hoodie pulled low, baggy jeans. I can't see their face at all, just a dark shape. They bend down, slip the envelope under the door, straighten up, and walk away, calm as anything. Down the stairs, gone. Less than 10 seconds. No one notices. I don't recognize the walk, the shape. Nothing. The phone screen flickers to life. The little battery icon appears. It boots up slowly. My usual wallpaper pops up. A picture of me and my sister at the beach. Normal. Safe. But it feels like the phone asks for my passcode. My fingers are numb. I type it in. It unlocks. Everything looks normal. My apps are there. My photos icon. I hesitate. Do I look? I have to. I tap it. My recent photos load. The last one I took was a silly selfie in the cafe, right before I lost it. Then, nothing for days. Until yesterday. There are new photos. 6 of them. My blood turns to ice. The first one is my bed. My unmade bed, taken from the doorway of my bedroom. The angle is low, like someone crouching. The second photo is the door slightly open. My clothes are visible. The third is my desk. My laptop is open, screen dark. The fourth is my pillow. Close up. The fabric texture is clear. The fifth is the window in my bedroom, the curtains open, showing the brick wall of the building next door. The sixth photo is the worst. It's me, sleeping, in my bed, taken from the side. My face is turned away, buried in the pillow, but it's definitely me, definitely my room. Last night, a whimper escapes my lips. I drop the phone onto the couch, like it's a spider. They were here, inside, while I slept. They stood right beside my bed and took a picture of me. The room spins. I feel sick. I like your room. The words scream in my head. Terror locks me in place. I can't move, can't think. They have a key. Or they picked the lock. They got in. They watched me sleep, took pictures, and then returned. My phone, to taunt me, to tell me they can come back whenever they want. I scramble up, backing away from the couch, from the phone. I need to get out, now. I grab my bag, my keys. My hands fumble with the locks and the chain. I throw open the door and run, down the stairs, out into the street. I don't know where I'm going, just away. I end up at my sister's place, banging on her door. She takes one look at my face and pulls me inside. I'm crying, shaking so hard I can barely talk. I tell her everything. Show her the photos on the phone I shoved into my pocket. She gasps, her hand flying to her mouth. "Oh my God," she whispers over and over. "Oh my God." I stay with her that night, and the next. I call the police again, show them the photos, the note. They take it more seriously now. They come to my apartment, dust for fingerprints, ask questions. But the hallway camera showed nothing useful. No forced entry on my door. They tell me to be careful, change the locks, get a security system. It feels like they're just saying words. They don't understand the feeling, the violation, the absolute terror of knowing someone was that close while I was helpless. My sister helps me find a locksmith. He comes the next day. I watch him drill out the old lock, put in a new one, a heavy deadbolt too. He gives me 3 shiny new keys. Strongest I got, he says. It should make me feel better. It doesn't. They got in once without breaking anything. How? I can't afford a fancy security system, but I buy a little camera, a cheap one. I set it up inside my apartment, pointing right at the front door. If anyone comes in, it should see them. It connects to my new phone. I check the app constantly. Seeing the empty view of my own door should be boring. It's not. Every time I look, my heart pounds. Is someone there? Is the camera working? Going back to my apartment is hard, really hard. The first time I unlock the new deadbolt, my hand shakes so much I can barely turn the key. I push the door open slowly, holding my breath. It looks the same. My couch, my TV, my kitchen. But it feels different, tainted. I see my bedroom doorway and the memory of that photo hits me, the low-angle shot of my bed. I sleep on my sister's couch for another week. Slowly, I force myself back. I have to live. I double-check the locks every night. Triple-check. I wedge a chair under the doorknob. I keep the little camera pointed at. I close my bedroom door at night and push my dress it. It's heavy. It makes me feel a tiny bit safer. Only a tiny bit. The fear doesn't go away. It just changes. It becomes a low hum in the background of everything, a constant buzz of worry. I jump at every noise in the hallway. Every creak of the old building makes my heart skip. I find myself looking over my shoulder all the time, on the street, in the grocery store. Is that person watching me? The guy in the hoodie? The woman looking at her phone? I don't know who to trust. I never hear from them again. No more notes, no more envelopes, no more photos appear on my new phone. The police find nothing. Just stops. Like it never happened. Except I know it did. The memory is burned into my brain. The feeling of eyes on me while I slept. The words on that paper. I like your room. Months pass. The sharp edge of panic dulls. I don't push the dresser against the door every night anymore. Just sometimes. I still check the camera app too often. I still lock the deadbolt in the chain. Always. The fear is quieter now, but it's always there, lurking, like a dark shape just out of sight. I try to tell myself it was just some sick person, a one-time thing. Maybe they got scared after I went to the police. Maybe they moved away. But I don't really believe it. The not knowing is the worst part. Who were they? Why me? What did they want? Are they still watching? Waiting? Life goes on. I go back to being there, but I sit near the counter now, where Mark can see me. I never leave my phone unattended, not ever. I see my friends, I laugh, I work, but something inside me, like it's a spider, broken. I used to feel safe home, safe in my own bed. I don't feel that way anymore. That feeling is gone, stolen, just like my phone. I know the locks are strong. I know the camera is there. But locks can be, cameras can be avoided. People can hide in shadows. The world feels less solid now, less predictable. I look at ordinary things, a brown envelope, a hooded figure on the street, the crack I got under my door, and I see danger. I feel the echo of that cold terror. Whoever they were, they showed me how thin the walls are, how easy it is for someone to slip inside. Not just into your home, into your head, into your sense of safety. And once that wall is broken, you can never really build it back up the same way. You're always listening, always watch those, always wondering. If tonight is the night, they decide they like your room again, the fear never truly goes away. It just learns how to hide, like they did. Story number 5, The Knowing. The sun beats down hot on my neck as I walk home from the park. Sweat sticks my t-shirt to my back. My bag feels heavy on my shoulder. I swing it around to grab my water bottle. My fingers brush against the smooth leather cover of my journal, or where it should be. The pocket is empty. Panic hits me like a bucket of ice water. My journal, my private thoughts, my stupid doodles, my secret worries. It's gone. I stop dead on the sidewalk, people bumping past me. Did I leave it on the park bench, under the tree where I sat? I turn and run back, heart hammering. I search everywhere, under the bench, around the tree roots. I ask a guy walking, his dog if he saw it. He shakes his head. I ask the old lady feeding pigeons. Nothing. It's gone. Really gone. A sick feeling settles in my stomach. That journal held pieces of me no one else should see. I walk home slowly, feeling hollow. Days crawl by. I try to forget about it. Maybe someone just threw it away, thinking it was trash. Maybe it's sitting in a lost and found box somewhere, unread. I tell myself this over and over, but the worry gnaws at me. What if someone is reading it, laughing at my stupid crushes, knowing my deepest fears? A week later, I come home from the grocery store. 2 heavy bags cut into my arms. I kick off. My shoes in the hallway. Something catches my eye on the small table by the door. A brown package. No stamp. No address. Just my name written on it in thick black marker. Blocky letters. My name Alec. Stomach flips. This. How did they get in? I always lock the door. I drop the grocery bags. Milk spills out. Don't care. I stare at the package. A tiny bit safer. It's the size of my journal. Hands shaking. I pick it up. It's light. Carefully, I tear the brown paper off. Inside is my journal. My unmistakable blue leather journal. Relief washes over me so strong I almost cry. Thank, I whisper. Someone found it. They returned it. Maybe they didn't read it after all. Maybe they're just nice. I clutch it to my chest like a lost child. The familiar smell of the leather slightly worn edges. I carry it into the kitchen, forgetting the spilled milk. I sink into a chair at the table. I need to see if it's all there. I open the cover. The first few pages look normal. My messy handwriting, a doodle of a grumpy cat in the corner. I flip a few more pages, then I stop. My breath catches. There's writing on the next page, but it's not my writing. It's different, neater, smaller, darker ink, like someone else wrote in my journal, my private book. I read the words. Tuesday, 3:15 p.m. Sat under the big oak in the park, ate an apple. Core left on the bench, watched the pigeons fight over crumbs. Thought about calling Sarah, didn't. Ice floods my veins. That's exactly what I did last Tuesday. Exactly. The apple core, the pigeons, thinking about calling Sarah. How could anyone know that? Unless they were watching me. Right there. Close enough to see the apple core. Close enough to maybe see the thoughts on my face. I flipped the page quickly. More of the strange writing. Wednesday, 8:30 p.m. Ordered Chinese food. Extra dumplings. Fortune cookie said, "A surprise awaits you." Laughed. Threw it away. I did that. Exactly that. Last Wednesday. The extra dumplings. The stupid fortune. I did laugh and throw it away. My hands start to tremble. This isn't someone finding my journal. This is someone documenting my life from the outside and putting it in my journal. I flip faster, panic rising. Page after page filled with this neat, alien handwriting, detailing things I did after I lost the journal, things only I should know. Friday, 10 a.m., cried in the shower. Song on the radio reminded you of Grandma. Felt stupid afterward. Hot shame burns my face. That happened. Alone in my apartment. The stupid song. The tears. No one saw. No one could have seen. But they knew. They wrote it down. Here. In my own book. The entries get more personal, more creepy. Sunday, 2 p.m. Walked past the old bakery. Smelled the cinnamon rolls. Remembered Dad used to buy them for you on Sundays. Almost went in. Didn't. Walked faster. Monday night. Couldn't sleep. Watched the streetlight pattern on the ceiling for an hour. Worried about rent. It's like they're inside my head, seeing what I see, feeling what I feel, knowing my memories, my fears. How? I slam the journal shut. I can't breathe. My chest feels tight. I push back from the table, the chair scraping loud on the floor. I pace the small kitchen. Someone is watching me, constantly, close enough to see me cry in the shower, close enough to know the patterns I watch on the ceiling at night. Are they in my apartment? Right now. I run to the front door, check the lock. It's locked. Deadbolt too. I run to the windows, check the latches, all locked. I check under the bed, behind the shower curtain, in the closet. Nothing. But the feeling doesn't go away. It gets worse, like eyes are on me, from everywhere and nowhere. The journal sits on the table, taunting me. I want to throw it away, burn it. But what if there's more? What if it tells me who is doing this, or why? Gritting my teeth, I force myself to sit down. I open it again. I skip past the pages filled with the stranger's writing about my past. I flip towards the back. Maybe it stops. The writing continues. But now it's talking about things that haven't happened yet. Tomorrow, 7:15 a.m. Alarm will go off. You'll hit snooze twice. Spill coffee on your white shirt. Curse. My blood turns cold. That hasn't happened. Tomorrow is. Is this a guess? A threat? A prediction? The next entry is written on it in thick black. 6:30 p.m. You'll take the bus home. It will break down near Elm Street. You'll get off and walk. It will start to rain. You'll forget your umbrella. I stare at the words. Elm Street? That's a block past my usual stop. Rain. The forecast said sunny all week. My throat feels dry. Is this real? Can they see the future too? Or are they making it happen? Feel trapped, hunted. Every move I make feels planned out by someone else, written down in this awful book before I even do it. I try to fight it. On Wednesday morning, I set my alarm for 6:30 a.m. I get up immediately. I pour my coffee carefully, wearing an old black shirt. I don't spill a drop. I feel a small, shaky sense of victory. See? You were wrong. But when I get to work, my boss looks annoyed. You're late, Alex. Meeting started minutes ago. I am late, because I changed my routine. The journal didn't predict me being late, because I changed the prediction. Did I just play into their hands? Thursday comes. I check the forecast obsessively. Still sunny. I pack my umbrella anyway, just in case. I decide to walk home, avoiding the bus entirely. Screw their prediction. I take a different route, down Maple Street, not Elm. Halfway home, the sky, which was perfectly clear, suddenly darkens. Thick, gray clouds roll in fast. Thunder rumbles in the distance. Before I can even think about my umbrella, cold rain starts, pouring down. Heavy, soaking rain. I fumble with my bag, getting rent. I pull out the umbrella, struggling to open it against the wind. By the time I get it up, I'm soaked to the skin, and I realize I'm standing on the corner of Maple. And Elm, they were right about the rain, about the location, even though I tried so hard to avoid it. The umbrella didn't save me from getting wet. The fear is back, stronger than ever. They know. They always know. They can predict what I'll do, even when I try to change it. They control the rain, or do they just know everything? I run the rest of the way home, the umbrella useless against the downpour. I slam the door behind me, dripping on the floor. I need to see the journal. What else does it say? What's coming next? I grab it off the kitchen counter where I left it. My wet fingers leave smudges on the cover. I flip it open, frantically, searching for the last entry. My heart is pounding so hard it hurts. I find the page with the prediction about the rain. Below it there's a new entry, written in that same neat, terrible handwriting. The ink looks fresh, damp almost. Did they write this while I was out in the rain? I read the words. Now you're home, wet, cold, scared, reading this, right now. I freeze. My breath stops. The words swim on the page. Reading this, right now. They know, at this exact second. They know I'm standing here soaked, holding this cursed book, reading these words. My eyes dart around the room. Kitchen table, chairs, sink, refrigerator humming. Empty. Always empty. But they're here. They have to be. How else could they write this? How else could they know I'm reading it right now? Are they invisible? Are they behind the fridge? Inside the walls? The journal slips from my numb fingers and hits the wet floor with a soft thud. I don't pick it up. I back away slowly, my eyes scanning every shadow, every corner. The dripping sound of my clothes is loud in the sudden silence. The air feels thick, pressing in on me. I thought the journal was the scary thing, but it's not. It's just the message. The real horror is knowing that something is always here, watching, writing, knowing everything I do, everything I think, everything I feel, right now, and always. They don't need the journal anymore. They're inside the house, inside my head. The silence screams, and I know deep in my bones that the next entry is already being written. Somewhere, by someone, or something. That, I can't see. I just stand there dripping, cold and more alone than I've ever felt, waiting for the words to appear. Story number 6, The Good Neighbor. Moving into the little blue house on Willow Street feels like winning the lottery. The street is quiet, shaded by big old trees. Lawns are neat, kids ride bikes, people wave. It feels safe. Perfect. My house is small, cozy, yellow shutters, a tiny porch. I unpack boxes, feeling hopeful. Next door lives Mr. Henderson. He's the first to say hello. An older man, maybe late 60s. Silver hair, kind eyes, a slow smile. He brings over a plate of cookies on my first day. "Welcome to the neighborhood, dear," he says. His voice is soft. "Name's Walter Henderson. Anything you need, just holler." I appreciate it, truly. Moving alone is tough. Walter seems harmless, grandfatherly. He offers to help carry heavy boxes. He points out which days the trash gets picked up. He tells me the best place to buy groceries. It feels nice to have a friendly face nearby. At first, it's just nice. He waters my flowers when I forget. He waves from his porch when I leave for work. Sometimes we chat over the low fence between our yards. He asks polite questions. Where did I move from? What do I do for work? Simple things, but slowly, the questions change. They get closer. You work late sometimes, don't you? 6:30 p.m., asks one evening, leaning on the fence as I unlock my front door. I freeze. How does he know that? I just nod, forcing a smile. Another time. Saw your sister visiting last weekend. She looks just like you. Pretty girl. He smiles. It doesn't reach his eyes. I didn't tell him my sister was coming. I feel a tiny chill. He starts being outside all the time, watering his already damp lawn when I leave in the morning, taking out his recycling when I come home late, sitting on his porch swing in the dark when I get up for a glass of water. He always waves, that slow, steady wave. It starts to feel less friendly, more like watching. You should lock that side gate. "Dear," he calls one Saturday while I'm gardening. "Never know who might wander in." I had left it unlocked. How did he know? My skin prickles. I try to be polite but distant. I make excuses when he invites me for tea. I pretend not to see him if he's outside when I pull into my driveway. But he's always there, always watching. The feeling grows. A heavy, cold stone in my stomach whenever I see him. One Tuesday night, I come home tired. It's dark. I unlock my front door, step inside, and flip on the light. Something feels off. The air smells different. Not bad, just not mine. Like Old Spice and mothballs. Walter's smell. I shake my head. Paranoia. I'm just tired. I go to my bedroom to change. I open my top dresser drawer where I keep my socks and underwear. I reach in. My fingers brush against something hard and smooth. Not fabric. I freeze. I pull it out. It's a small, smooth river stone, gray and white. I don't own any river stones. I've never seen this before. My heart starts pounding. How did it get inside my drawer? I drop it like it's hot. My eyes scan the room. Nothing else seems moved, but the feeling is overwhelming. Someone was here, inside my house, touching my things, leaving a stone. Why? Walter. It has to be Walter. The thought hits me like ice water. He has a key? Did he pick the lock? The stone feels like a message, a creepy, silent message. I was here. I can get in. Panic makes my hands shake. I run through the house, checking. Every window, every door. All locked. How? I check under beds, in closets. Nothing. Just that awful stone on my bedroom floor. I don't sleep. I sit on my couch all night, a baseball bat beside me, every creak of the house making me jump. The friendly street outside my windows now feels full of hidden eyes. Walter's eyes. The next morning I call a locksmith. I need new locks. Now. While I wait, I force myself to go outside and water the plants. My hands tremble. Walter's front. Door opens. He steps out holding his mail. "Morning, dear," he calls, his voice cheerful. "Lovely day, isn't it?" His eyes flick over me, sharp and knowing. He smiles.